Hey y'all, Wellness Wednesdays with Kate Dorsey. Sorry, I am a little late. I was here and then it disappeared. So let me invite Visa on. We are super excited. So I think I figured out what was going on. I got my phone wet and it was causing some trouble. Yay. Okay, perfect, Visa. I'm going to bring you on. Guys, I'm so excited to be talking to Visa today. We're really going to be diving into transforming Lisa. Hey, Visa.
Hey, Visa, how you doing?
I'm good. Yay.
Yay.
Me too.
Yay. Hey, Stephen.
Thank you
Thank you so much for being with me during our technical difficulties.
Do you have
You have like a weird sound thing. Can you hear me?
I have an echo, and I'm making sure everything of mine is on mute except for my phone.
Okay.
It's on mute.
Okay.
I don't have
anything else on.
I'm just sharing it to my group. Okay. I think we're good to go.
All right.
Yes. All right. Yes.
So
I still hear an echo.
Do you have two things?
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. Well, I'll roll with it.
It's fine if it's only on my end. I don't care. So I would love to talk just a little bit about
the work that you
do, how you got into it, and we can go from there. Hey, Lynn, thanks for joining.
Sure. So my name is Visa. I have heard all the jokes there is about my name. So I have been a life coach for just about a year now, and it's been a funny little journey. I was a corporate career mom, and I thought I had it all down. I was like, I don't know what the big fuss is about, why people can't juggle this whole motherhood and career thing. And then that all came crashing down. My baby was 16 months old. So I decided to step out of corporate America, and I thought I'd give the stay-at-home mom thing a try. And then I failed miserably at that as well. Just because I'm very driven, I'm ambitious, and I'm always have to be on the go doing something. So it led me to begin my entrepreneurial journey. This is actually my third business in the last 7 years.
Wow.
I started off as a sleep consultant. So I was all about helping women get more sanity in their life by getting their babies to sleep independently. That was my taste of being a business owner. And I loved helping women getting their life back. And then it organically led me into network marketing because I realized the amount of hours I was trading for the amount of money I was making, it just wasn't enough.
Right.
So I thought, okay, let me try my hand at network marketing. And I did that for 3 years, loved it. I built a team. And then the more my team grew, the more I loved the coaching aspect. And as I was building women up and empowering them and helping them to be successful, this whole coaching thing just really resonated with me. And I was like, wow, I love helping women feel great and working on their mindset issues. And because I had to help them with their mindset issues, I had to work on my own stuff, obviously, because I couldn't understand what I couldn't implement myself. And so, lo and behold, I decided to make the full leap into coaching, and it's the best decision I've ever made. And it's been an interesting journey, and it's so true what we say in the coaching world, right? Because each experience teaches you something unique to bring you to this present moment in life, and nothing is ever a waste.
So true.
How did you develop an attitude like that? One of openness and like a willingness to really look at like
things are always going to
be evolving, and it's okay, and I'm building
in the direction
that I want.
I don't think I ever started out with that attitude.
Okay.
I'm terrified of failure. So I think I was running away from admitting to myself that, hey, these businesses are not going well. And so it was my way of running away from things, and I was looking at new opportunities. So on hindsight, I'm really happy I actually had the courage. Now I can reframe it and say I had the courage to try different things. But at that time, when I was going through it, it all felt like I was trying to avoid failure and running from one thing to another.
Okay. So what kept you going? Because as you go into different careers, you are exposing yourself to potential for failure.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a question I've asked myself many times, and it's this burning desire in me to make it on my own. I have no idea where that comes from. Everyone in my family and in my culture that I see, growing up, cousins, everyone that lives in the US, they all have extremely they're very accomplished professionally, and they all work in the corporate world. And they also have very successful side businesses, but no one has taken the leap to go from full-time corporate careers to, putting all their eggs into their side gigs. And for me, I thought, okay, I'll be the one that's going to go all in and prove it all to them how successful I can be, So that's how this desire was born 7 years ago. I did not want to go back to work for someone else. I've been burnt in corporate America many times, and I always thought I was the issue. And in a way, I just, no matter how hard I tried, I never felt successful in corporate America, even though people told me that I was good at what I did.
So that's actually really interesting, because what you're getting at is that we have beliefs about ourselves, things that are operating below the surface. So like you've got all these external things telling you you're successful, you're hearing that feedback, and yet you don't believe it. So how do we how do we change that? How do we transform how we think and how we operate?
Well, one is becoming aware of this disconnect, right? How the world sees you and how you see yourself.
Oh, I love that.
And for me, awareness was huge. And it's all the little things, right? Like I learned these things from my mother, where she finds it really hard to accept compliments. My mother is really good at everything that she does. She's a perfectionist, and no matter what project she picks up, she's going to hit it out of the ballpark. But she fails to see that, or rather she always brings herself down a few notches, even if someone pays her a compliment. And growing up, I thought that was humility, right? But now I know otherwise. It's this drive for perfectionism, where you always think you're not worth those compliments. And so I had those same traits. And one of my coaches, very early on, a few years ago, my first coach I ever hired, she pointed it out to me. And I was like, what? That's ridiculous. I was like, that's not true.
And you're like, wait a minute.
I was like, oh, she does deny too much. So when I work with clients today, one of the first things that we work on is bringing awareness to the disconnects, where how you always tend to see the world through the lens that you wear. And it's not reality. It's a very skewed perception of reality, because you have all of these stories that run through your head, and you interpret everything that you see in the world through those stories. And usually when you bring that to awareness to a client, they're like, oh my gosh, they're like really taken back, because they really think that everything that I see is reality.
Right.
Yeah, our perception really is that lens through which we interact with the world, and it often takes working with a coach or a therapist, somebody outside of ourselves, to break through that, and we start to see things differently.
So I love what you're sharing about awareness.
Yeah, I just had a coaching session with an incredible woman who has been in her job for 2 weeks, and it's a huge promotion she's gotten. It's a new company, and when I spoke to her, she was like, I need you to help me with my mindset. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I keep thinking about how am I going to lead this team? I really want them to trust me, and I want us to collaborate, but I don't know every detail of what's going on. Not only am I having to learn everything that's going on in this new company, I'm trying to figure out my own job, and I'm trying to figure out everyone else's job. She was putting such immense pressure on herself. And I actually asked her, I said, how long have you been in this role? And she said 2 weeks. I was really taken back for a few seconds. I was like, wait, you have these expectations of yourself in 2 weeks? I said, do you realize how ridiculous that sounds? And so until, it's so important to have a third party, unbiased view of who you are. Because when you are in your life and you are in it every day and other people are in it with you, they don't see what's going on.
Yeah,
it really helps break through that. So what else do you do? So awareness is step one. What's another? Is there another step that you take to help people start to shift how they're thinking and what they're believing in?
Well, most people want to dig into the action plan right away. They're like, okay, what can I do to fix it now?
I know. It's like, slow down. Hold on. We got to be real ready.
Yeah. My favorite part is starting to peel back the layers on where is this coming from? Like, what is your earliest memory of you having this feeling? And why do you have to feel like you have to prove yourself? Who are you proving yourself to? And that's always the juicy part that I love getting into it with my clients. And most people are resistant to it because they don't usually think it has anything to do with what's going on today. There's a lot of resistance when I ask people, tell me about your childhood, tell me about your relationships with your family, you know, and they're like, it's fine. It was all fine. It was all fine. And I'm like, yeah, you might not have had any like huge traumas. And I'm glad that you had a childhood that nothing like huge stands out in where you were traumatized, which is fantastic. But we all have stuff that shape our experiences, you know? So it's funny whenever you ask people, what is your earliest memory of either being scared or disappointed? It pops up right away, something.
I know.
I love how that happens. And then so often people will second guess it. I'm like, don't second guess it.
Just tell me
what you just thought of. I know it probably sounds crazy, but tell me it.
Yeah. And then once, you know, we've started peeling back those layers, one of the exercises that I love doing is doing the inner child work. That's one of my favorite pieces with clients. And most of them, again, it's a lot of resistance, right? Because it's something that they've never done before. But usually when we dive into the work and we go back to that moment in time that really stands out to them in their memory, you see the walls come down. It's just magical to watch, to see themselves, to see them seeing themselves as a child. And what that child must be feeling and how scared and all the things that they desire at that age, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really awareness, peeling back the layers, and then really looking at how do we heal our inner child.
Yeah.
Okay, this is great.
Because really, if we're not having the results that we want, there's often beliefs that are in the way that we need to clear them out.
And they often will
come back up. But I'm sure, like, what you've noticed is that maybe that old perfectionism one doesn't have this, like, hooks in you the way it used to.
Yeah, absolutely not. Or even, you know, even before the all the healing occurred, I always wanted to be a perfectionist. Some parts of my life I was, and some parts I failed in my own eyes. But I could never just live with it, be okay with it. Like, it would just eat away at me. Like, if I went to bed at night with a sink full of dirty dishes, that's something my mother always drilled into me, that cannot be done. You have to have a clean house, la, 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 right? And even though I would be exhausted and I would leave the sink full of dirty dishes, I would go to bed at night and I would hear myself, how could you leave that? Like, you're not a good enough mother. You're not a good enough wife. You know, like, it sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, but those are the type of reels that used to run into my head. And now, like, those have stopped.
Yeah. That's what's so powerful about this work. Like, we all have these thought patterns that run through our head, but as we get aware and as we do the work, we can transform how we think. And then we can unhook from the things that have been really hurting us or holding us back. And so I love that you no longer have that. Because that's like such a possibility for people.
It is, and it's incredibly freeing and liberating, and it's a physical weight that's off your shoulders. You do feel, I've had clients tell me they've felt 50 pounds lighter after a session, you know?
Like a weight.
Just lifted.
Yes.
I love this.
I think this is great. So you've really helped us to understand how to get aware,
how we can start
to shift and change how we're thinking about things, and how we need to dig into our inner child and really look at what are the memories associated with some of these beliefs. So I think that this is fantastic. Lisa, if they're interested in learning more about where they can find out how to work with you, where should they go?
I'm most active on my Facebook group. It's called Becoming You. And if it's okay with you, I can send you a link.
And you can. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Do you want to drop it in the comment section here? And then that way when I share this.
Yes, I will do it after we've done, because I don't want to disconnect myself.
I totally understand. I got on here and had to leave because I somehow disconnected myself. And I have been doing Facebook Live for a while, but I'm not really sure what I did. I think it's because my phone case here, but it's like all in
I'm super active on my group, and I'm also super active on LinkedIn too.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, awesome. Okay, you guys.
If you resonate with Visa, if you really like what she's sharing, because you do need to transform how you think about things to get the results that you actually want. So go ahead and just, if you're interested. So there is an echo.
Okay.
All right. So
I have an echo on mine. Weird. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I hope that people can actually hear it.
Because it's
really great.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, definitely. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,
Bye.
Candy.
Bye, Candy.